So here is Kaz at the stable view, 3-star. And he's been doing really well. Actually, he's been doing much better in the dressage. Really have been working on relaxation, and was able to take him to the World Equestrian Center in Ocala at WEC and do a couple of dressage shows there, which was very helpful. So coming down the center line, with each horse it can be different. I'd like to choose their stronger lead, and for Kaz, that's his left lead. And then down into the trot transition. And he is a very interesting horse because he likes to have a very light warm-up. So basically I ride him for about 10 minutes, and then I get off, and then I get on right before we go on the test. And that seems to be what he likes. So his shoulder in was pretty good. He's still working a little bit in that connection. So you'll see he kind of gets a little bit up and down, and that's kind of like in my hand a little bit. And then coming into the 10-meter circle. And again, for like each horse, their warm up and kind of figuring out exactly what they like to help in the relaxation department is kind of, what you have to do. So now coming across the diagonal, he's getting a lot stronger for those medium trots. He almost broke, but I was able to catch it. But he is getting stronger and stronger and pushing from behind. And then into our halt. It was pretty square. And then into our rein back, which was very good. And then into our walk. And again, in this test, he felt very rideable and a lot more relaxed. He still has, a little bit more ways to go in the trot, although he had a little bit of a moment there where he thought he was cantering, but then he went, oh, whoopsie daisy, and then back to extended walk. But as far as his gaits go, his trot work, I think once he gets stronger and stronger, he's just going to really be really spectacular in the flat. And then coming in, working on into the medium frame. Sometimes horses like to jig when you shorten the rein, so I make sure to do a lot of working walk work at home. And then into our second shoulder in. It's getting better. Again, still the trot work is our weaker, I believe. And then into our half pass. He always likes to try to take the haunches first. And this is where I have to, again, work on getting him to be a little bit more supple in ground covering in the half passes. But again, that will come as he gets stronger. And then preparing for our canter. That was pretty spot on at C. And then across a short diagonal in the medium canter, which these can be pretty hard because then the horses anticipate a flying change. But he is a pretty good boy here. And then down transition to trot. And then we canter again at A. And then you have to do a walk transition as we start a serpentine. So all that stuff happens pretty quickly. And then he got a little distracted here because he saw something happening in the cross-country field. But again, these are getting way better. He's way more on my aids, picking up the correct leads. So I was very pleased with how those were. And then going into our stretch canter, which again, we practice a lot. I like to do a lot of stretch work in my warm-up and my cool-down. And then collecting him back up for the medium canter along the short diagonal again. And he has a lot of lift. He's very uphill. And now we're coming to the end of the test. and into our final halt. And again, I was quite pleased with my test. Each time we do one, we improve our score a little bit more. And he scored a 31.9 to put us in, I believe we were in 16th, I think, after dressage. And it was quite a big class of 44 horses. So I was really, really pleased with him on dressage day. Then on to show jump. And you'll see I have Kaz wearing the, it's called the titanium mask. And that's really for the warm-up area because he is a sensitive horse to oncoming traffic. And I found that with the mask, he's much, much more confident, which is an interesting thing. But I just love show jumping this horse. He's so much fun. He's so powerful. And again, we've played a little bit at home at WEC. At the show jumper, so I'm really lucky to have that kind of in my backyard. But he really makes show jumping fun again and makes pretty light work of that line. And then this line is a longer bending line, which most got it in 9, and I left out a stride and did it in 8. So then I had to make sure that I kind of reorganized a bit. And then coming through this last line. Again, this show jumping round caused a bit of problems with people having time and rails. And we moved up. We moved up quite a bit. I believe we moved up to 9th place after our clean show jump round. So coming into this final line, he really does a good job. And then I have to make sure we don't eat up this last line, which was in 7. And yeah, super boy. So really, really pleased with him. And then on to cross country. And for Kaz in cross country, it's kind of been a work in progress and figuring out kind of what works. And currently what have him in bitwise is a 2-ring Waterford. And that seems to be working really well. And also just kind of letting him do his own thing. So kind of right here, it feels like we're going pretty quick and I want to readjust, but I just rebalance him a little bit and he comes up. And I'm able to get a really good shot and get this in a nice 4-stride to the corner. So I was really pleased with him there. And then I went around the water because water really takes up time to that skinny. Took it on the angle. And then you can't really see, but we have a drop into water and it was a bending line to another left-handed corner. And then we had to do a tighter turn after which is not always Kaz's favorite thing to do, hairpin turns. He's a really strong galloper, but he listened well enough. And then we had the 2 stride on an angle coming down the hill. And again, I'm just kind of letting him cruise. I'm really not trying to mess with him too much. But it feels like we're going really fast. And then he gets a little bit lower. So sometimes, again, it feels like my balance gets tipped. But we've come to an agreement that when I say whoa, then I'll leave him alone. And so he's starting to really listen. And then I'm coming to this bending question to the corner, which I was a little worried about, but he did it really well, and I was really pleased with him. He was great around the rest of the course, really found things in our stride, and was only 5 seconds slow, so I was really, really happy with him, and we finished in 8th place. So it was a really great weekend for Kaz, and I really feel confident heading to Maryland to do the 3-star along with him. So I'm really excited.